Excellencies, Madam Deputy High Commissioner, dear colleagues, we will now take action on the draft resolution S21/L1. I should like to start by reminding you that this is a voting procedure and that the vote is the right to cast a vote is only for the members of the Council. Observer states will not be able to speak even on a point of order. I also wanted to remind you that the speaking time during this process will be 3 minutes. So, the resolution, the draft on ensuring respect for international law in the occupied Palestinian territory, including East Jerusalem, it will be introduced by Pakistan on behalf of the Organization of Islamic Conference, the Organization of Islamic Cooperation. For that purpose, then, I give the floor to the Ambassador of Pakistan to introduce the draft.
Thank you, Mr. President. On behalf of the OIC, I have the honor to introduce the draft resolution entitled Ensuring Respect for International Law in the Occupied Palestinian Territory, including East Jerusalem, contained in document S21/L1. This draft resolution has been tabled with the objective to highlight and condemn the recent wave of bloodshed due to Israeli aggression in the occupied Palestinian territory, including the Gaza Strip, resulting in gross, systematic and widespread human rights violations, as well as to ensure accountability for all such violations. The barbaric and inhuman acts of Israel, the occupying power, with impunity are indeed deplorable and have resulted in collective punishment of innocent Palestinian civilians. Mr. President, the preamble of the resolution reaffirms the right of the Palestinian people to self-determination, as well as the applicability of international human rights law and international humanitarian law for the protection of civilians. It also expresses grave concern at the critical humanitarian situation in the Gaza Strip and underlines the importance of providing emergency assistance, humanitarian assistance. The operative part condemns all violence against civilians wherever it occurs and calls for immediate cessation of Israeli military assault. It calls for immediate international protection for the Palestinian people in the occupied Palestinian territory, including East Jerusalem. It requests the government of Switzerland, in its capacity as depository of the Fourth Geneva Convention, to promptly reconvene the Conference of High Contracting Parties on measures to enforce the Convention in the occupied Palestinian territory, including East Jerusalem. Operative paragraph 12 decides to urgently dispatch an independent international commission of inquiry to investigate all violations of international human rights and international humanitarian law in the occupied Palestinian territory, including East Jerusalem, particularly in the occupied Gaza Strip. The report of the COI would be presented to the Council at its 28th session. It further requests the High Commissioner for Human Rights to report on the implementation of this resolution, including on measures to ensure accountability for serious violations of international humanitarian law and human rights in the occupied Palestinian territory, to the Council at its 27th session. We trust that the text will enjoy the full support of this Council and that it will be adopted by consensus. I thank you, Mr. President.